We all know Steve Harvey as America's beloved family figurehead. Between his comedic moments on Family Feud and his best-selling books on relationships, he's built a massive financial empire on being the wise, down-to-earth mentor everyone wishes they had. But what if the friendly mentor we see under the studio lights is nothing like the person behind closed doors? Away from the cameras, a much darker reality has reportedly been unfolding. In a series of startling revelations, Steve's own son has come forward to expose what he describes as a terrible and toxic upbringing. For years, fans believed in the image of a flawless household. But this candid testimony reveals a painful picture of life when the cameras weren't rolling. From college dropout to billionaire, here's the real story of Steve Harvey. Before the bright lights of Hollywood and multimillion-dollar deals, Steve Harvey was just a kid with a serious stutter growing up in the tough coal mining towns of West Virginia. Born in 1957, young Steve had huge ambitions that seemed completely unattainable for a working-class kid. In 6th grade, he confidently wrote that he'd one day appear on TV. His teacher dismissed him completely, calling him a smart aleck. But in an epic act of payback, once Steve made it big, he sent that same teacher a brand new TV every Christmas for years, just to remind her how wrong she'd been. His family later relocated to Cleveland, Ohio, settling on a street that would eventually be renamed Steve Harvey Way in his honor. Still, despite the hometown recognition, Steve's journey to success was anything but smooth. After finishing high school in 1974, he enrolled at Kent State University. College life didn't work out, and Steve dropped out after 2 years. He admits this huge setback sent his life into a serious downward spiral. Without a degree, he had to scramble through one tough job after another just to get by. He tried boxing, worked on a car assembly line, sold insurance, cleaned carpets, and even delivered mail. It wasn't until October 1985 that he found his true calling, performing on a comedy club stage in Cleveland for the first time. But discovering his passion didn't bring instant success. In fact, the toughest period of his life was just starting. For 3 grueling years in the late 1980s, the future star was completely without a home. When comedy gigs didn't pay enough for a hotel, Steve slept in his car. He kept up appearances by sneaking showers at gas stations and public pools. He was broke and desperate until a couple named Rich and Becky Liss gave him a much-needed break, providing steady carpet cleaning jobs and travel money so he could get to comedy shows. This rocky path from rock bottom to Hollywood stardom is exactly what makes the current family controversy feel so striking. Today, Steve Harvey is seen as America's go-to relationship and family expert. He's a billionaire businessman who gives tough love advice on Family Feud. But the serious allegations from his own son hit differently, making people wonder whether the struggles that shaped Steve Harvey into a star also turned him into a harsh, unpredictable father at home. It leaves everyone questioning whether the ultimate family man is just performing his best role yet. Steve Harvey's incredible journey from a homeless comedian sleeping in his car to a multi-million-dollar media mogul is the stuff of legend. After years of struggling, his breakthrough came on April 16, 1990, when he became a finalist in the 2nd annual Johnny Walker National Comedy Search. This big moment got him noticed and landed him a long-term gig hosting its Showtime at the Apollo, taking over from Mark Curry. That iconic platform became the springboard for his TV career, leading to a starring role in the 1994 ABC sitcom Me and the Boys. Though that show was short-lived, network executives saw his potential, and by 1996, he was leading the Steve Harvey Show on the WB. Running until 2002, the sitcom became a major hit in black households nationwide, making Steve a household name, even if mainstream critics often overlooked it. While dominating TV, Steve never abandoned his stand-up roots. In 1997, he joined comedy legends Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hughley, and Bernie Mac for the massive Kings of Comedy tour. It broke records to become the highest-grossing comedy tour ever, earning a massive $18 million in its first year and $19 million in its second. The tour's huge success caught the eye of filmmaker Spike Lee, who turned it into the hit concert film The Original Kings of Comedy. Steve rode this wave of success into his own variety show, Steve Harvey's Big Time Challenge, which entertained audiences on the WB until 2005. At the same time, he was quietly building his radio career, launching the Steve Harvey Morning Show in 2000. Originally airing through Radio 1, the weekday show eventually went into nationwide syndication, becoming a daily fixture for millions of listeners. By the early 2000s, Hollywood came calling with film roles. Steve starred alongside Cuba Gooding Jr. and Beyonce Knowles in the 2003 musical comedy The Fighting Temptations, followed shortly by a notable part in Love Don't Cost a Thing. He kept the momentum in 2004 with roles in Johnson Family Vacation and the dance film You Got Served, before lending his voice to Buzz the Fly in the 2005 family movie Racing Stripes. Always adaptable, Steve shifted to a cleaner image in 2006 with his stand-up special Steve Harvey. Don't Trip, He Ain't Through With Me Yet, filmed at MegaFest and notably free of profanity. He also focused more on mentorship, hosting the Disney Dreamers Academy at Walt Disney World starting in 2008 to help teens reach their potential. But the real cultural moment came in 2009 when Steve published his relationship guide, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. The book was a massive success, spending 64 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list, with 23 of those weeks at number 1. It transformed him into America's leading relationship guru and even inspired the star-studded 2012 romantic comedy Think Like a Man. Fresh off that success, Steve landed the role that would define his future, becoming host of Family Feud in September 2010. Under his leadership, the show's ratings soared to record levels, earning him the longest tenure of any host in the show's history and leading to a summer spin-off, Celebrity Family Feud. With his TV career secure, Steve officially retired from stand-up comedy on August 2nd, 2012, delivering his final performance at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, broadcast live on pay-per-view. He then moved into daytime TV with his own syndicated talk show, Steve, which earned him historic double daytime Emmy nominations for Outstanding Talk Show and Game Show Host, along with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He even ventured into tech, launching the dating site, Delightful, to offer his relationship advice online. However, as his fame grew, his live TV career hit a major snag in December 2015 while hosting the Miss Universe pageant. In an unforgettable live mistake, Steve mistakenly announced Miss Columbia as the winner when she was actually the runner-up. Moments after the wrong crown was given, a visibly nervous Steve had to return to the stage, correct the error, and crown the real winner, Miss Philippines. Despite the embarrassment, the Miss Universe organization continued inviting him back year after year because the controversy drew huge ratings. His massive success, though, hasn't been without backlash. In 2011, he caused outrage by calling critics of President Obama Uncle Toms on his radio show. Years later, in 2017, he faced strong criticism from the Asian American community for making offensive jokes on his talk show about women dating Asian men, an error he later apologized for online. That same year, he upset residents of Flint, Michigan, with a tasteless joke to a caller, telling them to drink some brown water, referencing the city's water crisis. Through it all, Steve's entrepreneurial drive never slowed. In 2017, he combined his businesses under Steve Harvey Global, managing everything from his production company to international Family Feud rights. He launched an annual music festival, a family-run events company, and hosted Fox's most-watched New Year's Eve special from Times Square, where he even got ordained to officiate a celebrity wedding live on air. He went on to host the NFL Honors multiple times, launched a digital learning platform called Vault, and expanded his TV presence with the 2022 ABC court show Judge Steve Harvey. He even spoke about faith and happiness at Expo 2020 in Dubai. Most recently, in March 2024, Steve announced a partnership with longtime friend Phil McGraw for the upcoming Merritt Street Media outlet. While this nonstop ambition has built an enormous media empire, the scale of his public achievements makes the recent personal accusations from his son feel like a completely different world, leaving fans wondering what really happens when the cameras stop Raleigh. The fairy tale image of Steve Harvey's massive empire hides a timeline filled with broken relationships, intense legal disputes, and a bitter second ex-wife who hasn't stayed quiet. Long before Steve was giving life advice alongside his current wife, Marjorie, his personal life was in chaos. While his career was taking off on the Showtime at the Apollo stage in the early 1990s, his first marriage to Marcia Harvey, mother of his twin daughters Brandy and Carly, and his son Broderick, was falling apart. Desperate to escape the loneliness that came with his rising fame, Steve quickly entered a second marriage with Mary Shackelford in 1996, something he later admitted was a major mistake made for all the wrong reasons. Though they had a son named Winton in 1997, the couple was secretly unhappy for a decade, living in a toxic environment until their bitter divorce in 2005. That difficult split led to an aggressive public campaign from Mary that has cast a long shadow over Steve's carefully built image as a wholesome family figure. Mary went on an extensive media tour, releasing emotional videos accusing Steve of repeated cheating. According to Mary, she discovered solid proof of his infidelity as early as their second wedding anniversary, specifically naming Marjorie Bridges as the woman who broke up her marriage. Mary described a heartbreaking aftermath, claiming Steve completely took away her dignity, forced her out of her home, used his powerful legal team to turn their son against her, and took her wealth. Practically overnight, her luxurious lifestyle vanished. The top fashion designers who once wanted her to wear their clothes stopped calling. Her wealthy friends abandoned her completely, leaving her isolated. However, the legal reality told a very different story from Mary's emotional public statements. While Mary tried to fight back hard, she was outmatched by Steve's top lawyers, who used her erratic behavior as evidence that she was unfit to be a mother, ultimately giving Steve full custody of young Winton. Court records later revealed that Mary was far from broke. She was awarded 3 of Steve's luxury homes and $40,000 per month in alimony until 2009, plus a final settlement of $1.9 million. Despite the money, Mary's life continued to fall apart, leading to her arrest for violating a child support order she claimed she didn't know about. With a strict gag order in place and no contact allowed with her son Winton, Mary was left hoping for even a simple phone call or acknowledgement from the people who had cut her out of their lives. Meanwhile, Steve's remarkable comeback with Marjorie was creating the perfect story of family redemption. Steve actually owes his current marriage to his longtime bodyguard, who noticed how unhappy the comedian was and decided to step in. The bodyguard reached out to Marjorie, whom Steve had briefly dated and lost touch with during his struggling years, and urged Steve to get his life together before making another bad marriage decision. When they reconnected in 2005, the connection was instant, with Marjorie even joking that if Steve had been upfront about his early financial troubles, she could have helped him avoid his 3 years of homelessness. They officially married in 2007, combining a large family of 7 children, including Steve's kids, Mary's son Winton, and Marjorie's 3 children from a previous relationship, including Hollywood it-girl model Lori Harvey. This fresh start with Marjorie dramatically boosted Steve's career, turning his best-selling relationship book into a successful movie franchise, securing his role as the king of Family Feud, and launching the hit show Little Big Shots. Together, Steve and Marjorie became a glamorous power couple, supporting youth charities while Marjorie earned the nickname Queen of Staycations by showcasing their luxurious lifestyle on yachts in the Mediterranean, vacations in Italy, and meaningful trips to Ghana.